Tonight on Country Squire Radio, they say what happens in Chicago stays in Chicago, but that's not true because John David's here to tell us all about the Chicago Pipe Show this year. Looking forward to it. We got a great pipe question of the week talking about taxation and availability of certain tobaccos in and around the various states in which we live here in the United States. All that with quick fire questions, your listener feedback, and more starting right now on Country Squire Radio. Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Beau.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Beau. Good evening, man.
Man, good evening to you, sir. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm a little jet lagged and really tired. You know, I've been out of town for several days, and man, it was just exhausting. You know, we being out of the shop, you have all these shipments that come in, business as usual. You know, folks are delivering tobacco, mail orders have to go out, and deposits have to be made. Just all the small business stuff that comes with the shop like the Squire. And man, I just came back and my plate runneth over today.
Now, mail order tobacco always seems a little controversial. You know, a lot of people might think that somebody like you could actually get tobacco on your own, but you actually go the mail order route.
What are you talking about?
Tobacco.
Did I go the mail order route?
Yeah.
I mean, I sell mail order.
Oh, well, there you go.
What do you? I don't understand. Like, no, people are ordering tobacco from my website, and so I get back, I got to fill a lot of orders.
All right, so
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, all right.
What were you talking about?
That's exactly what I was talking about.
I don't believe you. I don't understand. I'm so confused.
It's the jet lag, man. It's the jet lag. How is it jet lag when Chicago's on the exact same time zone that we're on?
I don't want to talk about it. Look, these airports are really difficult. I'm just saying I might have eaten some bad curry. It just, things happen when you're out there.
Oh man. Well, we've got a great show tonight. We've got some fun stuff to talk about for sure. Hey man, at the top of the show though, we need to give some major shout outs to those that are helping make this show happen. I'm talking of course about those of you who are helping support the show over at patreon.com/Country Squire Radio. We actually have got a new Country Squire Radio Pipe Club inductee.
Dude, look at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome at the Squire level, Corey Hayes.
Ow.
All right, now I got a question for Corey. I don't know if Corey's tuning in live or you just when you hear this, buddy, let me know. Are you that Corey Hayes? And what I mean by this is I did a Google search because the name just sounded familiar. And I did a Google search and it wasn't who I thought it was. But I did discover that there is a Corey Hayes in New York who is also a major photographer. And so I'm very curious to know if this Corey Hayes is said famous New York City photographer.
And he might be.
He very well may.
Maybe he's a pipe smoker. I mean, pipe smokers are, authentic and talented and all that.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's to be edited out of the main show, there's a beeping going on in the background, and I've sent...
there's not a bomb in the store.
No, I think it might be in the humidor. Can you pull the batteries out of that little thing?
Does a humidor run on a timer?
So, no, we got this new... live folks get to see the sausage being made, right? Don't we love this? There's always one of these things where our editor, just loves dealing with this.
Hey, we love you, Mike.
So we're at the shop doing this, the live show, and of course we try to shut everything down just to kind of keep the, distractions down while we're recording, so the podcast is relatively clean. But so our humidor is right over there, and it's a walk-in, just like a lot of smoke shops. It's smaller than a lot of smoke shops. It's in the back, but I got a new hydrometer to kind of tell what the humidity level is in there, and apparently it just likes to beep at random times. So it gave us its blessing tonight. So,
no worries.
Yeah, but anyway, there's that.
All right, picking up right now, Mike.
Yeah, man.
All right, we also have a new patron joining up as well. Now I love this because our patron is Ol Andre Vic.
Ol Andre Vic.
Ol Andre Vic.
Oh, that's great.
Now in his username, he says Ol in there. I'm assuming that his first name is not Ol, but you never know.
No, it might be. I don't know.
It could be.
What if it's Ole?
Ole,
Maybe he's Spanish.
Ole.
No, that's great. Andre, thanks so much for joining at the patron level, man. That's great.
Absolutely.
Both of these guys, Corey and Andre, we appreciate you very much. This goes directly into, helping Country Squire Radio happen each week, and we really can't thank you enough for that.
That's exactly right. Now, we teased out something last week.
Oh, I'm so excited.
All right, so this is a big deal for us. So we've got coming up here in the next couple of weeks, we've got our 200th episode. Now, for several weeks back, we've been kind of talking about this. It's coming up, man. We've talked about how we're building up to it, how it's going to be a big deal. We've been trying to figure out how we can make this special. And so, as we announced last week, we are doing the episode 200 live from the Country Squire. Now, I know what you're thinking. You do that every week, but no. We are actually opening up the doors so that you can actually come in, sit in for the live recording of the show, followed there directly where after followed directly thereafter with a huge party. We're gonna have cake. We're gonna have some beverages. It's gonna be a ton of fun. So we want to encourage you, if you've never made your pipe pilgrimage down to Jackson, Mississippi,
this would be the time.
I can think of no better reason.
I mean, if you can get free a Monday night and you're relatively close by, or if you just want to fly into our sprawling oasis here that is Jackson, Mississippi, we can take you to lovely LaFleur's Bluff, where we play on the golf courses that have the mains.
There's a Chinese restaurant right there.
There's a Chinese restaurant. I mean, there's
a liquor store right next door.
There's a liquor store, and then there's the beautiful Country Squire. It's great.
Historic.
It is historic. We are a historic shop, but you can breathe the same air and pick up the same dust as famous authors and comedians, and ex NFL football players that have come through our shop, and it'd be fun.
Whole 9 yards, man. All right, so June 5th. It's Monday, June 5th is going to be the date. The time is going to be 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's when we open the doors. At 6:30, we'll start the show, so it'll be doors closed at that point. Here's the thing. It is limited seating, so there are tickets on sale now. We've got it up on Facebook. We've got it up. If you go to countrysquireradio.com, you'll see a big banner for it. It is going to be very much first come, first serve. However, we do have benefits. If you are if you are supporting the show, if you are a patron, then you yourself actually wait, hang on. Let me see if I can get all of this wonderful stuff right. For those supporting the show, there are various discounts at the level in which you are supporting the show. So if you're a member of the Pipe Club and everything, then you've got the notification to get the coupon codes. But even if you are using those coupon codes, you still need to do it like now, because you may not have the option.
You have to sign up. There's only limited seating.
That's right. So do that. Again, countrysquireradio.com. Look for the banner. You'll find the link. And it's got all the information there.
I'm really excited. I'm hoping we have a good crowd, and it's just it's frankly a miracle, that we have done this 200 times now. It's kind of crazy. I still can't get over that, like sitting down with one another that many times, and I don't know. It feels like it's a blip, in Chicago, which we'll talk about shortly. I just had so many conversations with folks about our podcast and the nature of it and why it is just different and interesting and engaging. And, we just started this kind of on a whim. You had an idea and kind of convinced me begrudgingly to come along, and we just kind of, we're like,
kicking and screaming and clawing on the ground.
I mean, I'm just, and anyway, it's just kind of funny, and here we are, 2 years later, and we've got, no, not 2, 3 or 4 years later.
Almost 4 years.
Yeah, man, we've got all these friends and have connected a lot of folks in the community that never would have known each other otherwise. And anyway, all that to say, we just want to celebrate with y'all and hope you can make it in person. And if not, join us live that night.
Yeah, you may even be pulled up on mic. You never know. It gets crazy up in here.
That's dangerous.
It is. Now you got some announcements too, yeah?
I want to do it at the bottom of the show.
Okay, all right.
Is that okay?
Stay tuned for the bottom of the show for some major announcements, specifically for you club members.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So tonight's episode, man, this is great. So last week we mentioned it. This last couple of days have not been here in our hometown of Jackson.
I've been absent. Yes,
you have actually been in Chicago, that toddling town.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And last year we were both there. We went on an adventure together. And this year you went solo.
Yeah, I did.
I was fine by myself. I was watching all the pictures come through.
And, yeah.
You remember that episode of Friends where Joey's like looking out the window as it's raining down upon him?
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
I didn't watch a lot of Friends.
Yeah, really?
I wasn't cool enough to watch a lot. Friends and Dave Matthews kind of went together for me.
Interesting.
And I don't know. I was resentful to both of them, and I'm a Beatles guy. So anyway,
wow. There's a whole.
Maybe there's another episode there.
There has to be another episode there somewhere.
Yeah.
But regardless, I was quite lonely here as I was seeing all of the amazing pictures of you sending in photos with listeners, with big industry titans, with everything that was there. So this episode, man, I want you to take me, and by extension, all of us, with you to Chicago.
Well, a lot of our listeners were actually there, which is really awesome. So, I'd love to hear some of their, experiences also. But it was great. We had fun. I was really excited about going, and we're just going to kind of take tonight to give you an overview of kind of what happened and my experience, who I spoke with, and some things that debuted there that were kind of interesting, and conversations I had that I think were kind of enlightening and things of that nature. But the main thing we want you to feel from this is like what it's like to go to the greatest pipe show on earth. Okay. If you can imagine being in a very dated convention center, which we'll talk about shortly.
It's classy for the era.
It's classy if you're the Golden Girls in 1974. but you know there's something remarkable about being in this place, and you've got just this incredible collection of people from all over the world. I've never seen more Danish people in my life. I mean, they're just Danish people everywhere, which is awesome. They're just such a, well, I mean, you think about like, you know, the incredible amount of carvers and blenders that come from these great traditions in places like Italy, Denmark, you know, France, you know, the incredible pipe companies. I mean, the birthplace of the Briar pipe and all these things.
I mean, is it safe to say this is not just the largest, the biggest pipe show in America, but in fact, the world?
The world. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, we want to give you an idea of this. And a friend of ours, you know, told me when we were on the convention floor, they were like, look, we need to let people know how awesome this event is, because if you're a pipe smoker at all, it's a bucket list thing. Like it really is. It is a bucket list event. Like you need to go if you're an enthusiast by any stretch of the imagination, like going to this event and experiencing it, seeing the magnitude of it. You know, I mean, just you know, it's overwhelming. And so anyway, it was really cool. You know, as I was preparing to go, I was kind of nervous, and you know, I was leaving the shop behind and had all of these things to do. But just, you know, had to leave them with our Caleb, the intern, who took good care of the shop. I was fully expecting to come back to the shop and just find a pile of ashes and maybe a skeleton or two.
Right.
And man, it was in one piece. He did a great job. But yeah, so, you know, I went to our beautiful Jackson International Airport, which is basically a pasture.
It's somebody's backyard.
It's basically a pasture, and flew up to Chicago, got into O'Hare, and they've got this really cool arrangement with this like limo company that's kind of like a taxi service.
What? You got a limo this time?
No, it's not a limo, but it's a limo company is what they call it. But it's like they've got these like kind of fancy Lincolns and, you know, Cadillacs and stuff that'll come pick you up, and you know, you pay $50 and they tote you out to this, you know, the Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles, which is in a suburb. So so you know, you get to the Pheasant Run Resort and you just don't really know what to think about it. I just feel like I need to take a little time to describe the place where the Chicago Pipe Show takes place. So you're in the suburbs of Chicago, and there's this resort. It's this sprawling complex. You know, you've got a
it's huge.
It's you were there. You know, so you know it's a gigantic thing. You've got a golf course. There's basically a kind of a mini convention center right there on site. Swimming pool. There's like 4 pools. You know, there's hotel rooms obviously galore, but then they've got this kind of like Main Street thing inside. So there's a bunch of bars and like restaurants and a convenience store and all this stuff like actually going on inside the hotel itself. And it's kind of like The Shining.
A little bit, right?
It's just a little creepy, you know?
So they haven't updated the amenities or anything?
I'm just saying, like I love Pheasant Run, and it is the perfect place to have the Chicago Pipe Show.
Right.
Like that, like it is as quirky and wonderful as us pipe smokers are. But it is stuck in 1978, and it is very apparent, and it kind of creeps you out.
Yeah, and it's not going anywhere.
It just kind of does. Yeah, no, it's great. And it just feels like it should, you know, it's just right. So
all right, so wait, you left. Now take me back. Which day did you leave?
I left Thursday.
So you actually got there on Thursday, because I have heard, and this was not, you know, I don't think, if I'm doing my math correctly, this was not our experience last year. But the word on the street is that the real pipe show happens
exactly
the day before, the night before.
Exactly, yeah. And I want to talk about that. It was really cool because, you know, if you have the opportunity to go to the Chicago Pipe Show, get there Thursday night. You need to get there Thursday night, and there's a reason for that. You know, it's amazing. You get there, you wake up, you know, Friday morning, and there's this incredible collection of people that are already gathering. Because what they do is they open the smoking tent up, which I'll kind of describe in a minute. But they open the smoking tent up. They've got you know, all the carvers and vendors and everything just rush to find a little corner of this area, and that's where you get the first pick. You get the first pick of all the really cool stuff, you know. So the week building up to the Chicago show, these carvers and distributors and all this stuff. They're putting out their really cool like teaser photos of their stuff.
Right.
And by the end of Friday, the really coveted stuff, it's gone. I mean, it's just that's it. It's amazing.
Is there some sort of, I mean, is it really just kind of this whole first come first serve mentality? Is it you've bought it before you even arrive? Like why? Or is it like if I sell it the day before, then like I don't have to do some sort of like commission share type deal? Like
no, it's not. I think it's just kind of tradition. It's almost like a reward for being part of the greater community, getting there early, investing in it early, getting to know the people that are there. If you get there early, you're going to have more time to mingle and linger with people that, are just, you're
in it to win it.
You wouldn't have any, opportunity to do that otherwise.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting here, you might be sitting in the smoking lounge and, which is a giant tent. And you might be sitting across the table from the main blender of Cornell and Deal, Jeremy Reeves, or you might be sitting across from one of the executives at Mac Barron, or the owner of Chacombe or whatever. I mean, it's just it's amazing. So and then you get to rush in and kind of get the cream of the crop of the stuff that's there.
That's good.
It's just really special.
Did you see him pitch the tent?
What's that?
Did you see him pitch the tent?
No, they did that. It's interesting because the Chicago show actually goes several days before. So it was going on way before I got there. But got there Thursday night. First person I saw, which was awesome, was Jim DeShane. Our good friend who we were able to swindle a couple pipes off of last year. And by the way, I think that pipe is still the nicest pipe you own.
Oh yeah, no,
like
most
by
definitely.
far.
Most
definitely.
Like
it is some of the prettiest grain. But man, just awesome guys. So it was cool to like immediately see a friendly face. We recognized each other and kind of chummed it up. Made a lot of fun of you for not being there, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
You got a lot of flack because you weren't there, but you also got a lot of love too. You have a lot of fans, Beau.
I have no fans. I do have listeners, and I appreciate all of them. But
it was really, really cool to connect with Jim. And so we're in the smoking tent. To describe the smoking tent, imagine a gigantic ballroom, but it's not a ballroom. It's inside this tent, but the tent, it doesn't feel like a tent because it's surrounded by, these plastic walls where they've enclosed it in. They've put a floor down, so you're not standing on grass. There's heaters in there. So if it gets too cold, they heat it up. There's a bartender. So I mean, it's like you're inside, but you're just in this giant tent that doesn't really feel like a tent. And so, and like I mentioned, you're sitting across maybe the table from just fascinating pipe carvers from all over the world, and people that are speaking in very broken English because they're from East Asia or Northern Europe or wherever, and it's just really exciting. I think the thing I like most about the tent is when you go into the tent, you don't necessarily have to go with a purpose of meeting someone. You just go sit down. That's all you do. You just find a seat. And once you find a seat, we're pipe smokers, right? So you're immediately, kind of just catching up conversations with folks. I met a guy, I wish I, could have connected with him further. But his name is Quinn. He's from the upper Midwest, and man, just a pastor in that area. And it was so cool because we just sat down and had this great conversation about pipe smoking, kind of what he did and the connections there that he makes, kind of similarities between his profession and mine, and all this kind of stuff. And and then you turn around and make fun of someone because they can't keep their pipe lit or whatever. So it's just an amazing thing. It's just really pretty cool and organic. But anyway, so went to the tent that night, and it was cool because after that I went to this bar, this kind of lounge that's inside the hotel there. So at the Pheasant Run, which is very fitting, they have this kind of faux New Orleans thing. You remember that?
Yeah.
So
faux, heavy emphasis on the faux.
Yeah. So if you have listened to Country Squire Radio enough, Beau and I are big fans of New Orleans. Beau kind of considers it a second home, and we go there semi regularly because in Jackson we're just 3 hours away, and so we like New Orleans, but the Pheasant Run Resort, they kind of have this like strange
it's like Disney World.
I really want to use a certain kind of word, but I can't because we have folks that listen to us at work and stuff. But it's this it's this place that is trying to be like Bourbon Street and, New Orleans and South Louisiana, Cajun and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, yeah.
It's like if you go to Disney World, like the MGM Studios, and like everything is fake. Like you can like knock on the
like
walls.
Like a plastic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that, but cheaper.
Yeah.
way cheaper. And it's just, it's not New Orleans.
No, but it's fun and it's endearing in its own way.
In its own, yes, it is. I would not say it.
That's the thing. Like we're picking on Pheasant Run, and I feel bad. I feel bad about that, right? Because now I'm sitting here saying this stuff, and like it really is. It's just kind of a cheesy setup, but like it's perfect for the Chicago Pipe Show. It's perfect for the best pipe show in the world.
The local high school prom,
because you got and that happened this year too. So no, it's great. It was really awesome as you're walking. The prom of the local high school is like hosted on the same grounds, and this year they even had these little vases where you could. They had like they were voting for their prom king and prom queen.
Did you vote?
And no, I didn't vote. That's like disgusting. But anyway, they had, and I wasn't involved in that anyway when I was a kid. I was an outcast. But anyway,
whatever, man. You were like king of your school.
Oh, let me tell you. But they had these black vases that you could put money in to vote for the prom king, and the pink vases to put money in for the prom queen. And you just got these 85-year-old men in these cardigans and driver caps. And they're like khakis pulled up to their midsection, and they're just walking around with their pipe bags and stuff. And then you got these 17-year-old girls glittered up in these like purple outfits and like these really awkward guys in tuxedos for the first time in their life trying to make moves on these girls. And it's just this weird thing. Like you're in this hotel that's from like The Shining, and you've got this this strange thing going on, and these old pipe smokers, from, all over the world. And there's, just people speaking, Chinese and Danish and all this stuff. And then you got this prime. Anyway, it's just nuts. The whole thing's just nuts. But, so I'm taking a break. I'm sitting at the bar.
From the prom.
I'm taking a break from the prom. That's right. That's right. I wasn't elected king.
I would have voted for you.
I took a break from the prom. I was sitting at the bar in one of the, the restaurant's name actually is Jambalaya. Which and I don't know if they serve jambalaya or not, but that's the restaurant's name.
Not the good stuff.
And it's cool because I was kind of resting, just sitting at the bar. It'd been a long day, travel and all that. And I hear behind me someone says, hey, John David. And I turn around and I see three guys actually that I've never met before in my life. And there is Jeremy Feliciano. Jeremy is the founder of Briar Nation. And Briar Nation, of course, one of the biggest kind of pipe communities on Facebook and on the internet. And we anyway, have been friends online for a long time, but have never gotten to connect with Jeremy, never met him before in person. And we didn't know a ton about each other or whatever, but anyway, he invited me over at his table, was sitting there with a couple of good friends. And that's how the Chicago Pipe Show is. You're just kind of, constantly bumping into people.
Big family reunion.
So, stayed up late with those guys, had a few beers and smoked a pipe afterwards out in the tent, and then hit the sack. So, yeah, it's really good though. And again, that Friday part, like we talked about, it's kind of that thing where, you get there early, you get to see the good stuff. But then also these people that don't want to deal with the tent because maybe they're kind of introverts or something. They go up and they actually in their rooms in the actual hotel will have like trunk shows. So it's just really weird experience, right? They put these flyers out all over the hotel and they're like, hey, come see my collection of Dunhills in room, 503. And then you go up and you knock on the guy's door and I'm
here to see your pipes.
I'm here to see your pipes, and in this hotel room I've never met you before, and it's this really confusing experience, and these guys, they've got their pipes like spread over their bed, their luggage is in the corner, you can see their toothbrush in the bathroom and all this kind of weird. It's just strange. It's just strange. The whole thing is just kind of funny, but man, some of the best deals and experiences are met and found in those kind of things. There are a lot of folks with these incredible pipe collections that were on sale. Actually, Ewan Reese, one of the major pipe retailers in the country in Chicago, right there, kind of the hometown store. Great guys that run that shop. Chuck, who's owned it since he was a kid.
I think we did a shop talk with them a while back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. But anyway, they actually had the largest estate sale of pipes in one place in the world, really.
Wow.
I mean, they just had stuff from all over the place. So it was really cool just to see some of that and connect with people you never thought you'd meet. So
that's awesome. All right, so the first night was really more social. Did you haven't mentioned this yet? Did you buy anything the first night?
I did not.
Okay.
I held off till the second day.
Okay.
As if that sounds like a big accomplishment. But yeah, and the second day I only spent several $1,000s. It was great. Everything was great. Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah.
All right. So first day,
I don't have a problem. I promise. I don't have a problem.
Socializing, getting drunk on faux Bourbon Street, getting faux drunk on faux Bourbon Street.
Right.
That's good. All right,
faux drunk on faux bourbon. I have to remember that.
Next day is the actual show, right? The ribbon cutting and people actually storm.
Yeah, so you have this thing, and everyone gets there really early. Of course, what was beautiful about this, Beau, and I have to say this on air with you right here next to me. I was so incognito this whole time, and it was great because if you were there, we would have been like running back and forth to all these different people and like, oh, let's go meet this guy, let's go meet this guy, and because you're kind of like the Tasmanian devil, and I'm kind of like the guy that it would just sit in the corner and not talk to anyone if I were left to myself. That's why we're such a good balance. Because,
only when I got microphones. Only when I got microphones.
No, I mean you pull me out and I like kind of rein you in. You know what I mean?
That's good. But
it's been a busy season for me, and so I was just there, and I didn't really have a lot of appointments or anything, and so I was just I had my little coat on. I was walking around. I had my Country Squire T-shirt on, but I just didn't. It was just great. I just got to hang out and shop and talk to people casually, but it was so cool because I did get to meet a lot of our listeners from all over the country. Met folks from Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota, California, Nevada, New York State, Massachusetts. I mean, these are people from all over, Scotland, people from all over that really are part of our Country Squire radio community, and it was just really fun to interact with them, get feedback. People, it was honoring too, because folks would be like, "Yeah, I'm smoking Bag End right now. Or I'm smoking Old Toby right now." They pull out their pack that we had sent them and blended right here at this tobacco bar we're standing at right now. It's kind of special. So, but anyway, yeah, I spent a bunch of money.
So that's what people really want.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money. The thing is, like, if you're a retailer and you go to a show like this, you try to find things that maybe you can bring back and kind of put in your shop, or you're thinking of customers that, okay, well, I know if this customer saw this, he would really like it, and so maybe I'll invest in this and see if this person is interested in buying it or whatever, and so 45 pipes later,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was finally done, and I had just enough money to get home. Yeah.
45 pipes. Don't worry. 5 of those were for the shop.
I know. Right. Exactly. Yeah. You get it. You're onto it. Yeah. So,
all right, but like, were they like all mostly like from like larger vendors, or were there some custom stuff?
That's the thing. Yeah. Most of, for the beauty of the American carver market is that, and this really is a beautiful thing, and I can say that honestly as a retailer. Like, in today's world, the carver can go direct to the person. So there's no the carver doesn't really need a distributor necessarily.
Right.
Like, it's like our good friend Danny Vasquez in Iowa, Bird and Bear Pipes. He's so talented. And whenever he puts out a pipe, he puts it online, and you buy it straight from him. You get it straight from the carver. It comes from their workshop. It's got a hand signed note with them. And that kind of thing. Well, that, and that's good. That's how it should be. But, so most of those pipes aren't sold through retail outlets like the Squire. Most of, the pipes that we sell in a shop like this are going to be, name brand pipes, or maybe larger carvers, particularly from Europe, Denmark, Italy, that just crank out, 3, 4, 5,000 pipes a year, kind of thing. And so just connecting with some of those distributors was great. And I bought a lot of pipes from them, and hopefully they, in Italian and Danish and whatever language they had, were blessing me on my way out. So yeah, it was good.
That's good.
It was really good. Some cool news from the show, which I thought was really neat. Of course, we talk about McClellan tobacco all the time on CSR, and I'm a big fan of McClelland. We use a lot of their blends, or a lot of their raw ingredients to make some of our blends here at the shop. And of course, I was sitting in the smoking tent, and and who else walks in but Mary and Mike McNeil?
Man.
No, Mary is the owner of McClellan Tobacco, and McClellan and Mike, her husband, is the blender. He's kind of the head blender. What's awesome is Mary is a pipe smoker too, of course,
and an artist.
Does watercolors with all the tin artwork of McClellan stuff is all her stuff. But Mike was saying, that is the best, one of the best taste testers of raw ingredients that is on the face of the earth. And he was like, and that's my wife and my boss, which is really kind of cool.
And she was there.
Yeah, no, Mary's there.
Oh man,
I love it because when we've talked about this before on the show too, but when I order from McClellan, like she's the one that picks up the phone.
Sure.
It's her or Christy, like, one of the two, and they're in the same room together. This is a small batch group of just, American folks that are just really talented at what they do and have made a real name for themselves. So anyway, the news here is that McClellan this year celebrates its 40th anniversary.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, you think about like 40 years, that's a big deal for a small batch artisan American tobacco company.
Yeah.
So anyway, they have come out with a blend called their 40th anniversary blend. It's very reminiscent of Christmas cheer, and actually the tin is a beautiful blue tin that is the same size, 100-gram tin, same size as Christmas cheer. Looks very similar, but it's very blue and silver instead of kind of the red and gold.
But the whale and everything.
But the whale, all that stuff, the wreath, and it's just very, very attractive. You're buying a really high quality product when you buy it.
They know how to make it feel premium.
They do. Yeah. They really do. When you just know you're buying something special when you buy a McClellan product. And so anyway, Mike worked really hard, and he wanted to come out with a red Virginia flake that just had a nice richness to it. And what's cool is actually I don't know if it's next week or the following week, but we got some audio from some of these people.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
You man. I was gonna wait to give you props, but you got some great audio,
we got some good audio
interviews.
Yeah.
So next week, that's a treat.
But we actually got to talk with Mike, and so Mike was able to explain when he came up with 20th anniversary, and he worked on this for forever, obviously, and just what he was thinking, what they were going for, and I really look forward to y'all listening to that. I think you'll really enjoy it.
It's a good teaser for next week's episode.
Good teaser.
Now,
yeah.
I want to know about something that many of our listeners who have been with us for years want to know about.
Yeah.
And that's Father the Flame.
Dude, it was awesome. I know that.
So you have seen it?
No, I've seen it. I've seen it. Now, this is the thing. It's, they were kind of talking about it being a, the first release or whatever. Well, it's not quite done yet.
Oh,
yeah.
Come on.
No. But I need to be clear. They've just got some minor tweaking to do. There's some music issues that they have to work through and all that. But it is a full feature length film, and it is fantastic. The visual, obviously the videography, and even how they've kind of organized things where they bounce back and forth between Denmark interviewing the Iversons, back to Michigan talking with Lee Von Erck, and over to Italy and seeing Mimo, the best briar kind of distributor, harvester in the American market. He's bringing this briar. It shows you how it's coming out of the ground, and then you follow people like Von Erck and the Iversons, and you see how this turns into these incredible works of art, and even how they're sold. It's like these markets where they go overseas, and people pay thousands of dollars for these artisan pipes. It's just really, really special. So
I want it.
Yeah, and I I'm so excited. I got to hang out with our good friend Rush. Of course, you can follow
AKA
him
Beardcore
at Beardcore on Twitter, and Rush is just such an encouragement, dude. But he was. I could tell, he was a little nervous, but like he did great. Like their whole team did great. I think the feedback they got was really good. And
they say over 10 years in the making.
Dude, it's not quite that long.
No, I mean, come on.
But no, I mean, it's been a little while.
From what I've seen, it looks amazing. Just release it.
Yeah.
I want it so bad.
It's really great. So and I told him, I was like, man, when this comes out, like we need to figure out a way to get pipe clubs to rally around it, and maybe even have like watch parties and stuff like that. I mean, we could make this a lot of fun. But anyway, it was really excited about that. And the guys that collaborated on that with Rush and everyone else, they just put their heart into it, and I highly recommend it once it does premiere officially in its final version, to check it out. So, it was cool because Cornell and Deal, also a great American tobacco company. We love and support Cornell and Deal, but they actually have had this small batch tobacco series that has come through. For the past couple years now. They do every quarter or so release a new small batch tobacco, and their small batch tobacco this go around is Father the Flame.
What?
And so and the Father the Flame tobacco, it's actually supporting the project that they've done.
Man,
so,
that's awesome.
And what's cool is like you out there, if you're listening, you can actually purchase, Father the Flame tobacco from Cornell and Deal if you can find it. The Squire we had a small allotment of tins, and they went on our website and they were gone within 24 hours. It was amazing. But if you buy this tin, you're actually supporting the project that they're doing, which is really cool. But anyway, Father of the Flame tobacco from Cornell and Deal, just a no nonsense English blend. It's an English blend with zero topping, any kind of flavoring, stuff like that, and it's just really clean.
It's a
smoky.
pipe smoker's blend.
It's a if you're a Latakia smoker, this is your blend. Yeah. So it was really cool to see that and see the guys at Cornell and Deal, Jeremy and all the guys there, just really in a position to where they could support and get behind Rush and his friends that are doing Father of the Flame. So really, really cool. Probably the most memorable thing, Beau, though, about the Chicago Pipe Show was Saturday night. And Saturday night, so there's kind of this weird like subculture. Okay, you're at the Chicago Pipe Show and everyone there is really special, but then like there's this strange thing that's going on. It's like,
it's called the high school prom. We already talked about
it. We did. You're right. You're right. And old men like walking by in their cardigans voting for the prom queen.
Right,
That's
right,
great.
exactly.
No, everything's normal.
Brian Levine in the front of that line.
No, it's great. Oh, by the way, he wore his velvet coat so that people, in his words, would rub on him, and it works. It works. Brian is great, by the way.
That man is a rock star.
He really is.
Yeah.
And like he walks around the place and owns it. And it's just such an encouragement. I was always we pick on each other. I was talking with Mike McNeil about talking with Brian, and you'll listen to it more next week on the episode. But when you talk to Brian, you kind of have to be prepared. Like you kind of have to be storing up your your jabs and kind of.
Right. You gotta.
You kind of got to go into it being ready, like especially if you're Hobbit folk like you and me, Beau. He has a lot of fun with that.
Right.
A little furry beards and all that kind of stuff.
It's just you can never outthink him though.
No,
there's only one Brian
quick.
Levine.
He's quick, man. He's quick. So, but it was great to see Brian. But
the weird thing about Saturday.
Yeah, so there's this not subculture, but it's kind of, people are like, well, this is what everyone else is doing, but this is what the cool people are doing. And so, and the main thing that kind of you hear about, there's this hospitality suite that's kind of on the opposite end of the resort. Okay.
What?
You have to walk almost, a half mile to get there inside this hotel.
Was that there last year?
And it was.
We just didn't get the invite.
No, we weren't cool enough.
Oh my. Was it because I wasn't with you this year?
Exactly. They were like, nah, he's not there, so you can come.
Man.
But so anyway, they you walk a mile to get there, and you go up this like unmarked staircase that's behind this door. It's just bizarre. And all of a sudden you get to the top of this, kind of clandestine staircase, and you're looking at this like giant oak door that you would think of seeing in like a law firm or something. And you open it, and there's this party, and it's kind of a speakeasy kind of feel. It's like this weird but the thing is, this suite that is in this thing, it was like the former owner or something of the Pheasant Run Resort, like I guess used it as his private apartment. And so it's completely decorated in like, 1970s, just chic. It is just, and I mean that in the most awful way.
The walls match the ceilings, match the floor.
No, it's just crazy, man. Like there's just drapes that look like they just, literally came out of the Golden Girls, and the whole thing is just shag carpet, and it's just bizarre.
He got a style. He got some.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah,
it was great. There's there's a jacuzzi that hasn't been turned on in years, and there's shag carpet and these weird window treatments and all this stuff. But it was cool because there was just kind of this group of people that were connected, hanging out there, that weren't necessarily, you just had the opportunity to kind of get away, and be, I don't know, just connect more intimately with friends and things like that.
The hospitality suite.
Yeah. So it was great. I think the highlight of that night for me was hanging out with my friend, Eric Karlowski. Eric, of course, is the tobacconist and the manager at Indian River Trading Company.
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
In Grand Rapids. And Eric, good friend of the show, incredibly talented blender, and just a really good spirit. Anyway, hanging out with Eric and his friends from the Furniture City Pipe Society, which we'll talk about in next week's episode some. It was just a lot of fun. It was encouraging. I got to know up there a lot of the folks from Seattle Pipe Club, which was really nice. And it's just a really, really neat area to visit.
Wait, how did Eric get in there? Hang on. I feel really insulted. No offense, Eric, but how did Eric get in there and I didn't get in there last year?
No, I'm just saying, sometimes,
it's like a retailer thing. Like, we're in the business.
No, I think it was one of those things where you have to be like higher than a certain height.
We're the same height. That is not it.
or maybe, I don't know. Maybe your beard has to be like a larger amount or something. I don't know. Yeah, but it's just seething. It's terrible.
It's fine.
No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. No, it was great though. We had just a lot of fun, and got to connect with so many people. Of course, the folks at up in Grand Rapids, we've got a lot of friends up there, and they were voicing support for the show and everything, and also getting their digs in occasionally, which was pretty great. But hung out with Max Stokeby, who
one thing to say real quick though about the Grand Rapids listeners, they can dig as much as they want to, because I remember in the earliest days of this show, back when we were on a different service that gave us really cool tracking that we don't have anymore.
Right.
Like we saw very specifically that our audience, like the first audience that we got outside of Jackson, Mississippi,
was kind of a hub. Yeah.
Two places was Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Austin, Texas.
Yeah,
and
so awesome.
There's
a
reason why we show a lot of love
that
to those
way.
groups,
Yeah, it's really special. And so if you ever get up that way, there's just a great pipe smoking community in Michigan, and those guys are just not just knowledgeable about pipes and all that stuff. They're into it just like a lot of us are, but they're very kind people, and they're not people that are going to make you feel like an idiot if you don't know a certain thing about tobacco, or use a certain type of blend or whatever. So anyway, I would really encourage you, if you're ever up that way, look those guys up at the Furniture City Pipe Society. But just really cool. It was a fun time. I woke up super late and missed checkout on Sunday.
Did you really?
I think the thing on Sunday to talk about is the experience at the airport. So, I'm coming, I'm going through the security line, and I've got, 45 pipes with me, and I'll just let the listeners kind of guess as to, the value of that amount of pipes. And, if you go to a show like this, you're not just buying low end pipes. I bought a lot of nice stuff. So I've got all these pipes for the shop. I wanted to bring them back, and I was like, well, I'll just put them in my luggage and check them. And then I realized, like, these people lose luggage all the time. Like, these are like invaluable treasures, hand carved by artisans all over the world. And I'm like, I'm not putting that in the belly of some plane. Like, it'll wind up in Hackensack, New Jersey. I'll never even see those again.
Who are you flying with?
It's like United. And they didn't beat me up, which was really nice. But
they got a history of messing up their luggage.
No, I'm just saying, I didn't want any part of it. So I was like, okay, I didn't check any luggage going up, but I had to check some luggage coming back. And so I checked all my clothes and everything, and in my carry-on, I put these 45 priceless pipes that was so eager to get back to the shop. And again, they're just, it was probably the largest amount of money I've spent in a day in my life, right? It was crazy. But anyway, I wish I had a photo of the TSA agent, of his face when he saw the scan of my carry-on bag. because he looked at it and then he kind of looked over at me and tilted his head. You know how those dogs, when they look at you, they'll kind of tilt your head to the side. Yeah. And he squinted his eyes and then he kind of looked at his counterpart and was like, come here. And so they take my bag and they pull it over to an extra little area and they're like, sir, we're going to just go through your stuff. And I can tell they're like, what the heck is going on here? And so
got the rubber gloves on and everything.
They did. Yeah, they did. It was great. And I saw, my favorite part of this experience is I saw the image that they took, the scan that they took of my bag. And it looked like it's like Santa Claus's bag, but full of clear, like lollipops, like it was just full of these things, these with stems coming out with these like clear bowls. It was just everywhere. It was just ridiculous. And so I, explaining to the TSA guy, yeah, we're at a pipe show, and I specified tobacco pipe show because I wanted him to know kind of what that was, and he was like, yeah, whatever. He's like, and he said something like, if whatever you do, as long as there's no, material in this stuff, is on your own and you do what you want, man. I was like, dang it, he thinks I'm a pothead.
Yeah, they always do. They always do.
It's just crazy. So, but anyway, it was hilarious. And the only thing I regret about that is I wish, and he may not have even let me do this, but I wish I could have taken a photo of that scan.
Oh yeah.
Because it was amazing. If you can imagine a X-ray picture of just these a mass amount of pipes like this. It was just great. So anyway, I was like Gollum clutching my precious pipes through this airport. I was like, look, take my bag, take my toiletries, my underwear, everything else. Like, but if all I go home with are, is no contacts, no clothing, no toothbrush, but these pipes, then I've accomplished my goal.
Of my cold, dead hands.
No, exactly. That's how I felt. Yeah, it was crazy. So, yeah, man, anyway, it was just a great time, got home safely, and it was just a real treat. So, anyway, all that to say, look, we've given you just a history of a show that you've, maybe have never been to. And, maybe some of the details are boring to you, but I think kind of our intent here is just to let you know what you're in store, what you have in store if you go to something like the Chicago Pipe Show. The pipe community is so encouraging, and I left there so incredibly encouraged, so just emboldened, lots of creative ideas, lots of, knowledge now about new products out there, and what other people are doing, what new carvers are doing, and all this kind of stuff. And it was just really special. So anyway, I had a great time.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah. Did you get a chance to see Phil?
Phil.
Of course, a good friend at Missouri Meerschaum.
Yes, of course I saw Phil. Yeah.
Okay. How's he? Did he have the family
Of course I saw Phil. Yeah. I mean, the whole crew was there. They had, just a really nice sized booth, and we're just slinging corncob pipes all over. So
Missouri Meerschaum, that's a company that is always very active in the community, no matter what the event may be.
Absolutely.
Phil he's always got the family out, and they're showcasing all their beautiful pipes. And I know, one of the pipes that is sponsoring this week's show is the Missouri Meerschaum freehand pipe.
Yeah.
Now that is a sizable bowl right there.
It's a big bowl, but what's beautiful about it is that, if you like the freehand style, you're not just limited to a briar pipe, so think about, the beautiful plateau that you might find on a briar, the bark that's there, that kind of, the ends of that really fine grain, they've mimicked that at Missouri Meerschaum, and you just get a beautiful freehand looking style pipe that's made of a cob. Really generous bowl, large bowl, comes in a bent and a straight variety. The stem also tends to be a little more decorative than some of the other Missouri Meerschaums, which is kind of nice. This is one of their higher end pipes, and so typically they'll put kind of a nice varnish on there that's kind of
is that what you call it when it kind of darkens up a little bit on the sides?
Yeah, they have kind of that pre-darkened thing where it's like a black and clear varnish.
They do that with the Country Gentleman
goes
too.
on exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's a real nice stain. It's an elegant looking pipe, and you're going to pay a little more for it, but it's a great smoke, and it's very high quality. So anyway, all the folks at Missouri Meerschaum are great. They're big sponsors of the pipe community, big sponsors of pipe clubs everywhere, and promoters of our hobby and industry. And man, we just really encourage you to support Missouri Meerschaum, and hopefully pick up a freehand.
Yeah, if you happen to pick up a freehand at the Chicago Pipe Show, you definitely showcase that. Take a picture of yourself smoking it this week. We'll retweet that out. It's a great way to show the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum that you appreciate them helping sponsor and support this show. Pipe question of the week this week. Wait, that was actually, I kind of jumped into that like quick fire questions.
You did.
Yeah,
you did. You were really excited.
Same energy.
You can be that excited about the pipe question.
No, I am. I'm very excited. Pipe question of the week this week comes in from Tom Wester. Now, Tom writes in, he says, what is the current state of taxation and availability of pipe tobacco, particularly regarding shipping across the state lines? With online retailers being a major means of acquiring fine tobaccos, what legislation do they have to fear in the years to come when shipping state to state? Yeah. How far away are we from having to stockpile the tobaccos before they become impractically expensive?
Yeah. Well, and in some states they already are. So we live. How do I talk about this without getting too political? We live we live in a republic, and so every state is kind of its own, in some ways, its own sovereign. And so you've got tax laws that are very different in a state like New York than you do in a state like Indiana or Idaho or wherever. And so if you're buying stuff over state lines, most of it on the internet is unregulated. The only thing there is that some states have forbidden the sale of internet tobacco in their state, and there's not really a good way to regulate this. No, so like
same with like wine industry, a lot of different
same kind
things
of
like
thing.
That.
Like there, like in our state, for instance, we're one of the few states in the country where, if you are a wine enthusiast, you cannot join a wine club here.
So frustrating.
Yes, it is, because you like, if you like wine, you find these clubs online where you pay $100 a month and they send you 3 bottles of wine or whatever it is, and you get a variety and get to learn, and they ship it right to your door. Well, that's illegal in Mississippi, and so as soon as you try to sign up for any of these clubs, they send you a letter. It's like, hey, thanks for your interest, but we can't do that. Well, that's the case in some states regarding tobacco as well. And so even premium tobacco products. And I'm thinking particularly of Washington State. Washington State, it is illegal to, buy tobacco and have it imported over state lines through the internet. And so that's a big frustration for folks in Washington State. Now, does it happen? Yeah, but it typically happens under the radar, and none of the big retailers do that. And so, just something to keep in mind there. With taxes, the sales taxes are starting to creep into places like Amazon, some of the bigger retailers like Best Buy or Apple or whoever. A lot of those folks are actually now starting to collect sales tax for the states that they're shipping to, because they're getting so much pressure from these state governments. But typically, this is kind of nerdy, and we won't get into too much because it'll bore you. But
I was told there wouldn't be math.
Yeah, there's no math. Yeah, but there are numbers though. But typically, companies that aren't grossing over a certain amount each year, they kind of get a pass from these state governments. Okay, so a little shop like the Country Squire, or or even a good sized shop, let's say like Ewan Reese or whatever, like they're the likelihood that a state is going to request that we collect sales tax for them. I've got let's say a lot of our friends in Michigan, they order Country Squire tobacco. The likelihood that the state of Michigan is going to contact me and say, hey, we want you to collect sales tax for us because we know you're sending your products into our state. Well, that doesn't happen, but Michigan has done that to Amazon, right? And so
the volume,
the volume and all that. So that's kind of where it's at. It's state by state, and it's a lot of it depends on the bureaucrat you talk to and the regulator you talk to. So because each one of these are just controlled by different people. But anyway, that's kind of where it is, and so it's why it's so important to fight for premium tobacco wherever you are. Help, as we've talked about, all the time on Country Squire Radio, help, identify and educate on the differences between the types of tobacco and particularly what we do as pipe smokers. And it's really important on the local level, and hopefully we can make some headway making it fair for, even our friends in Washington.
That's good.
Yeah.
So don't stockpile just yet.
As a tobacconist, I think you should always stockpile.
Okay, well there you go. It's clear house.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah. Everything's on sale. Yeah.
That's good. Well, great question. I think one that has been kind of it's been there for a while, and so I'm glad to finally get that one in there. So
yeah, that's great.
Great question, Tom. And hey, if you've got a pipe question of the week, send it in show@countrysquireradio.com. Quick fire questions.
Ow!
All right, man. We got quick fire questions in from the good folks at thispipelife.com. Actually, a lot of users of thispipelife.com.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
More about thispipelife.com here in a minute. But first, we'll just take them. We got 3 different quick fire questions from 3 different listeners over at thispipelife.com. First one comes in from Philip, who asks, liberty or equality?
Liberty.
And before we answer, well, okay.
How's that for an answer?
There you go. It sparked a debate on the forum. Like our quick fire question, suddenly took like for a couple of posts, went back and forth on this one issue. And
it's interesting.
It's an interesting question. I put a lot of thought into it too.
Okay, what's your answer?
Well, so I mean, balance. Both there can be a balance. I think that there's that's the great quest of democracy, is finding the balance.
I think liberty breeds equality.
I think equality can breed liberty.
I disagree.
Define
equality.
Define liberty.
The individual has a right to do what they want to do and be respected for their decisions.
Is that not the same as equality?
No.
Well, can there not be a balance?
No, I think as long as that happens, as long as folks are respected as the individual with their own abilities to make decisions and not interfere with other individuals' rights and things like that, then what happens is folks are productive and folks do what they want to do, and then the folks that work hardest they kind of become successful and society gets better, and that helps everyone.
Oh, I see. So it's more of like the whole "I don't treat my children equally" thing. You don't know that argument?
What do you mean?
So it's like I treat my children fairly, not equally.
Yeah.
That's the concept.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we should treat everyone fairly.
But I wouldn't give all my children the same liberty.
Well, because some of them are idiots. I mean, not necessarily your children.
I was about to say, what'd you say about my kids?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. I don't know. I have to strongly go with liberty, and I think liberty breeds equality. All men are created equal. That concept is just as important as liberty. But allowing people to make decisions that affect the rest of their lives, they choose in some sense their own status of equality.
All right. And I would say that finding the balance is the challenge.
There you go.
All right, Woodsman. Now this is a much tougher question.
Is it really?
Yes. Woodsman asks, Veronica or Betty?
I don't understand the question.
Do you not?
No, what does that mean?
Archie comics?
Gave no idea.
Okay, really?
No.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So Archie comics was like the classic, like
I remember there was a comic in the funnies or whatever named Archie.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
So the whole concept behind, in all fairness, I'm not like a big Archie guy. Although if I'm not mistaken, isn't there? I think there's like
more of a Garfield guy.
I did like Garfield.
Yeah.
But I if I'm not mistaken,
I like pasta a lot.
I think that there is actually a live action like Archie television series going on right now called Riverdale or something.
Everyone's got to make a living somehow.
Well, all right. So anyway, it's like a soap opera. Like the comic was essentially like this like teenage soap opera. And so the idea I think is that you had these 2 ladies that were interested in the protagonist, and they were Veronica or Betty.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Veronica because I have
because clearly
I have an aunt named Veronica, and so we're just going to go with that.
I'm going to go with Veronica as well.
It's actually not an aunt; she's more like a second cousin or something. But anyway,
I'm going to go with Veronica as well because in Avengers: Age of Ultron, there was a great reference.
You lost me.
Well, so
no, go ahead.
Tony Stark gets the Hulkbuster armor, and it's like this big, massive thingamajig, but they call it specifically Veronica because it's to stop the Hulk, and of course the Hulk's girlfriend's name is Betty, so it's kind of like this Betty Veronica. It's like a very deep cut Easter egg. You have to get it anyway. All right, so that's from Woodsman, and then finally Blues Piper asks, belt or suspenders?
Belt. It's just more practical.
I would have pegged you for a suspender.
No, I think I was at one point in my life. But in that same point in my life, I only wore bow ties and regularly wore cufflinks. And that is not where I am now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, I'm belt all the way.
I'm a long-haired beatnik that runs a pipe shop.
I actually do own some suspenders. They're like Santa Claus suspenders. Like they've got his like face on them and everything.
No, that's good. Yeah.
But we bust them out every single Christmas, and I never wear them. So no, I'm a belt all the way.
That's probably best that way.
All right, those are quick fire questions from, again, Philip Woodsman and Blues Piper from thispipelife.com. Thispipelife.com, an amazing online community. If you've not checked it out yet, you absolutely should. Quick fire questions can turn into deep, meaningful discussions.
They can. The folks at This Pipe Life were actually a big presence at the Chicago Pipe Show, and it was awesome to interact with, all those guys, particularly our friend Nicole and Max that worked there at kind of the main headquarters with them. But they were kind of in connection with the STG folks, and giving or charging people I think 50 cents for a sample of different tobaccos and stuff like that. But it's always great to interact with some of those guys because they just love tobacco. They've been in the industry forever, and the community is great. I think they've fostered just a really powerful community, and so we're very thankful for that. We're thankful for them for supporting the show. And the great thing is, if you sign up for thispipelife.com, it's totally free, and when you do, you can use the code CSR when you sign up. And that code actually helps the show out, and it lets the folks at This Pipe Life know that you heard about them through us.
So again, thispipelife.com, use the code CSR when you sign up to let them know about us. All right, man. Listener feedback this week. I think we're actually only going to do one because we're kind of running late tonight.
No, we've gone over an hour.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
So we got to be careful about that. But I tell you what, why don't we go with Donald? What did Donald write into the show?
Yeah, Donald says, "Nice to see you guys on YouTube. I've been listening to the podcast for a couple of months now. You two are a great team. Funny to listen to on long trail rides in Tokyo." Boy, that's awesome. I gave you a review on iTunes. Thank you very much. But I guess the whole Japan iTunes does not show any comments from the USA. Maybe you can't see my review either. But anyway, he says, "Nice looking shop. Keep up the good work." And that's Tokyo Puffer, also known as Donald. So, man, Donald, thanks so much, dude, all the way from Tokyo. That's great. It's a real honor. We're glad we're a part of your hiking adventures too.
Konnichiwa, right?
I think
that sounds right. Konnichiwa.
One of my favorite parts about the Chicago Pipe Show this year was just people reacting to this Southerner walking around. Like, they're just, there's some other Southerners there, but like, you open your mouth
it's
sometimes.
In Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, we're in Chicago, there's folks from all over the world, but there weren't a ton of us there. And I just opened my mouth and people are like, yeah, you're one of those. It's kind of funny. Yeah.
Oh man, that's the worst.
It was great.
All right. Well, hey, before we sign out officially, you had some news that you wanted to drop on people.
Yeah, this is cool. And I wanted to do this. I got to thinking about this on the way home from Chicago. So this is actually just something that I've decided upon in the past 24 hours. But, we as Country Squire Radio and the shop, the Country Squire, we have only stayed in business, succeeded, grown as much as we have, Beau, and all these other things because of the folks that have been very loyal and faithful in supporting us. And so anyway, I, just think, I was even, people know, we're, kind of folks of faith occasionally. And I was just, as I was praying this weekend, just thinking like, man, I don't, this, as much as we've accomplished and our community we've built, all this stuff, this is not us. I mean, this happens because of a greater community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we just, we're a small part of this. And we're just honored to be a part of a community that's beautiful, dedicated to each other and all this. So, anyway, I decided, I brought all these gems back from Chicago, and I wanted to treat our International Country Squire Radio Club members to a little sale. And that sounds kind of trite. I don't know. It's like, I'll offer a little sale, but it's something I just wasn't planning on when I bought these pieces. I was like, well, and as I was coming back, I was just thinking how important you guys are to us and what we do. And anyway, so what I'm going to do, we're going to take pictures of all the pieces that I bought in Chicago. And the Country Squire, we're a small shop, so we don't do a lot of sales. To be real honest, we're not one of these big warehouse places online. And so
the 45-year anniversary sale, but even that only comes around 45 years.
That's right. That's right. Next time will be 90 years. And so it's something that I thought a lot about. Is like, what, we're going to do this. And so I'm going to actually take photos of all the pipes that I purchased for our inventory in Chicago. And I'm going to give our Country Squire Radio pipe club members, whether you're at the Squire or the Pilgrim level, a hefty discount on all those pieces. And so anyway, if you're a member of those two, be looking for some communications from us. I'm really excited about that, and it's just a little way that we can say thank you for supporting us and taking a little piece of Chicago home with you also.
That's awesome, man. So more information, look for the Patreon feed on that. And by the way, never been a better time to become a club member. Patreon.com/Country Squire Radio is the place to do it. If you're listening on the Satchel podcast player, click become a patron. It's right there on your screen.
That's right.
It'll take you right there. Be sure to do that as well. We want to remind you again, we got episode 200 coming up June 5th. So make your plans to come on down to Jackson, Mississippi for that. You can find a link directly to get your tickets, as they are limited, at countrysquireradio.com. We got a big banner. It says episode 200. You can't miss it. It's got our ugly mugs on there as well. So it's like, you got it.
Speak for yourself. I'm just kidding.
You also can keep up with us throughout the week. You can follow us at Squire Radio. You can also follow me. I'm at the real Beau York.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at _Country Squire.
And all that information and more can be found at countrysquireradio.com, where, of course, you can tune in live on Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. That's 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. And by the way, for the live show, because things, whenever there's travel involved, things get a little crazy on the recording schedule and everything. So all right, hang on. I want to make sure I get this right. For those of you that tune in live, next week, we will be recording the episode that'll go out the prior week, as next week for the podcast, we've got the interviews from Chicago.
You already messed it up, but it's okay.
Did I really? Oh man, I thought I nailed it.
You said prior, but it's for the following week.
That one.
That's right.
The one that comes after.
So when we gather together as our live show community next week, we're going to record a live show just like we always do, but that show will come out on iTunes the following week. And then next week, if you download the podcast from iTunes or Satchel or wherever, you'll actually be listening to a lot of the audio content that I was able to get in Chicago.
And it's really good.
And I think it came out pretty good. So I'm really looking forward to that.
It came out really good.
If you're not, if you only listen to Country Squire Radio through YouTube, through the live show, I really encourage you to download the episode, listen to that content. I think you'll get a big kick out of it. I really do.
Well, man, thanks for taking us to Chicago, both this and next week. But I really do think that, like, this week we got a chance to really kind of come through and get the full John David Cole experience.
Hey, country come to town, man. You just gotta live it up there on Faux Bourbon Street.
Man,
with your faux buzz.
I think you ruined it. All right, man. Well, hey, let's go have a night.
See you, brother.
Thanks, guys, so much for tuning in live. Yeah, all the stuff that we just said in terms of the schedule, it's going to be a little weird for you.
It's just going to be kind of strange, but anyway.
Stick with us. For those of you, because I do want to make sure this is very clear, for those of you who do like primarily exclusively tune in for the live show, it'll almost be like you get 2 episodes in 1 week next week and then nothing the following week.
Yeah, so basically it'll be 2 episodes next week, 1 live show, and then nothing the following week.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
That's it.
Cool. Hopefully that made sense.
Clear as mud, baby. Clear as mud. We'll see y'all next week, okay?
Bye, guys.
Good night, y'all.